Kodak and Shadow Victor. Right, let's have a look. I've decided we're going to do both the 8 values and 9 values tests today, just for the hell of it. Now, it must be stressed that you can't necessarily use these as 100%, judge where you are politically, culturally, whatnot. I have, however, on a average general level, sorry, I soaked my air with water just to chill myself out. 31 degrees in the southwest today. Yeah, it can be a good litmus test, pretty much. So let's have a look. Let's do the 8 values first. And it's on a site that says /8values.github.io. Like I said, it's one of those where you take it as you see it. The questions can be a bit leading, but like I said, as a general litmus test, I think it's a good broad judge. So let's have a look. 8 values. We have in the 8 values, by the way, you have economic. You've got, so the 8 values are split into 2. So there's 4 that are split into 2. Economic is split into equality and markets. Diplomatic, which is split into nation and globe. Civil, which is liberty and authority, and societal, tradition and progress. So let's have a look to see what it says. 8 values is, in essence, a political quiz that attempts to assign percentages for 8 different political values. You will be presented by a statement, and then you will answer with your opinion on the statement, from which strongly agree to disagree are options. You, with each answer, slightly affecting your scores. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be compared to the maximum possible for each value, thus giving you a percentage answer. Honestly, being called. Right, phone call something. Popular person, apparently. Anyway, where was I? Yes, right. So there are 70 questions in this test. 2 seconds. I need to pause again. Someone's trying to want my attention from that way this time. Right, 70 questions. Let's have a look. As I said, 4 independent axes: economic, diplomatic, civil and society. Each has 2 opposing values assigned to them. They are equality. On the economic side of things, you got equality and market. So those on equality, those with higher equality scores believe the economy should distribute value evenly amongst the populace. They tend to support progressive tax codes, social programs, and high values / socialism. Markets, those with higher market scores believe the economy should be focused on rapid growth. They tend to support lower taxes, privatization, deregulation, and high values, laissez-faire capitalism. Diplomatic score, we got nation and globe. So those with higher nation scores are patriotic and nationalist. They often believe in an aggressive foreign policy, valuing military strength, sovereignty, and at high values territorial expansion. So, in essence, the empire, being empire. Those with higher globe scores are cosmopolitan and globalist. They often believe in a peaceful foreign policy, emphasizing diplomacy, cooperation, integration, and at high values of world government. On the civil side of things, you got liberty and authority. So liberty, those with higher liberty scores believe in strong civil liberties. They tend to support democracy and oppose state intervention in personal lives. Note that this refers to civil liberties, not economic ones. Though on authority, those with high authority scores believe in strong state power. They tend to support state intervention in personal lives, government surveillance, and at high values censorship and autocracy. So Russia and China in different measures. Tradition on the society, you got tradition and progress. So those with higher tradition scores believe in traditional values and a strict adherence to a moral code. Though not always, they are usually religious and support the status quo or the status quo ante. So yeah, it's conservatives. Those with higher progress scores believe in social change and rationality. Those, although not always, they are usually secular or atheist and support environmental action and scientific or technological research. In addition to matching you to the 8 values, Liquid also attempts to match you to a political ideology. This is a work in progress and is much less accurate than the values and axes, so don't take it too seriously. So they even say themselves, it's rough gauge. If you disagree with your assigned ideology, send us an email. Yeah. So let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a good butchers. Right, instructions. You will be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click the button with your opinion on it. Got it. Right. Number 1. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. Now, I suppose... See, I would say neutral, but I have more of a problem with corporations than I do governments, so I'm going to agree, but not strongly agree with it. Question 2 of 70. It is necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect the consumers. Now, I personally believe this is true. Not to a wholly, massive extent, but yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Free of the markets, free of the people. Now, I'm not sure about this because we've seen the evidence of free market capitalism, and there is freedom, but it's almost like an illusion. So I'm going to disagree with that. It's better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. I'm going to disagree with that one, just on principle. Public funded research is more beneficial to the people than leaving it to the market. I strongly agree with that. Like the market's always saying, "Oh, we'll invest, we'll make things better," but if so, why isn't the system strong enough to take the hit that we're taking, so that the populace don't feel it as much? Anyway, tariffs on international trade are important to encourage local production. Oh, I agree with that. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Now, I'm mixed on this one. I'm going neutral because without making this video too long, I'm in certain situations that it's true, whereas in a lot of situations it's kind of unrealistic. So go neutral. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favour of private charity. No, strongly disagree. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor, and I strongly agree with that fucker. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. Okay, from a pagan point of view, I'm going to say yes. Basic utilities like roads and electricity and that was from a Norse pagan, by the way. Basic utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. Strongly agree with that. Government intervention is a threat to the economy. Disagree. Not strongly disagree, but disagree. Those with a greater ability to pay should receive better healthcare. Fuck off. Strongly disagree. That's elitism in its purest form, or one of its purest forms. Quality education is a right of all people. Fucking right. Pardon me. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. Oh yes, this is why I'm also a socialist. The United Nations should be abolished. No. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. Yes. Yeah. I support regional unions such as the European Union. Yes. It is important to maintain our national sovereignty. Yes. Now, see, this is where it comes into. It's not. What's the right word? I don't believe it's hypocritical to have, or contradictory, to believe in unions and a sense of national identity as well. I don't believe I don't believe that is actually a contradictory statement. I believe you can hold more than two things in your head at once. More than these two supposedly opposing thoughts, and I don't believe that they are opposing thoughts. Anyway, so I agree with that. A united world government would be beneficial to mankind. Yeah, I agree with that. Not strongly agree, but I agree with that. It's more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength. I would. A part of me agrees with that, but then a realistic part of me tells me that, you know, there are other countries out there that don't believe what we believe, and are highly likely to get to if they think they see a weakness, try to take our country and bring it into their own sphere of influence. So I'm going neutral. Yeah. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. Disagree. Military, especially if we're given the globalization. Military spending is a waste of money. Disagree. For the previous point. International aid is a waste of money. Completely disagree. Strongly disagree. My nation is great. Ooh, I'm just going neutral on this one. I'm gonna get beat up for this, but yeah, it depends on what context. Is Britain great? Yes and no. So I have to remain neutral. Research should be conducted on an international scale. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. Government should be accountable to the international community, depending on the context. So I'm going to agree, but not strongly disagree. Not strongly agree. When protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. What? No. No. My religious values should be spread as wide as possible. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean conversion? Because if so, I strongly disagree. If it means to open, just to share my values, then I might agree. But that sounds like conversion, so I'm going to strongly disagree. Our nation's values should be spread as again. That kind of sounds like conversion. It's very important to maintain law and order. Yes. The general populace makes poor decisions. Yes and no. I'm going to go neutral on that one. Physician-assisted suicide should be legal. Yes. Sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. But it depends on what you define as terrorism. In actual, if we're just going to take terrorism as we know terrorism to be, then yeah, okay, I'll strongly agree with that one. Well, no, just agree, not strongly agree. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. Yes. In the very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. I don't think so. Well, no. Well, yeah, but that again, it's all in context. Do you want people to be able to go around raping and murdering everyone? So, disagree. Regardless of political opinions, it is important to side with your country. No. All authority should be questioned. Fucking right. A hierarchical state is best. Right. Okay. This is another one. How do you mean hierarchical? Do you mean hierarchical, where you've got a top council, and then a minor council, and then a bunch of regional councils? Or do you mean person, couple of people, bunch of people, then regional councils? So I'm going to go unsure on that one. It is important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it's wrong. No, not if it's going to damage the nation. I would have gone against Brexit. The stronger the leadership, the better. Yeah, but I'm not going to strongly agree with that one. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. Yeah, it's a forum. Democracy can be a forum for debate. So yeah, strongly agree. Environmental regulations are essential. Yep. A better world will come from automation, science, and technology. Now I'm going to agree with this, but not strongly. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. Now I'm going to agree, but not strongly agree. Education is always good. That doesn't mean that they should be made to believe these values, but that they're educated is, yeah, I'll agree with that. Traditions are of no value if I disagree with that. Traditions are part of a people's identity. Religion should play a role in government. No. Culture, yes. Religion, no. Churches should be taxed, yes. Strongly agree. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. Fucking right. It is important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. Fucking yes. Society was better many years ago than it is now. No, as Simon Whistler says, the past was the worst. So I'm going to not strongly agree, but agree. It is important that we maintain traditions of the past. Now this goes back to the other question. So yes, I'm going to agree. It is important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. Fucking right. Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Yes, but not strongly. Drug use should be legalised or decriminalised. Yep. Same-sex marriage. Sorry. Same-sex marriage should be legal. Strongly agree. No cultures are superior to others. Strongly agree. Sex outside marriage is immoral. Fuck off. If we accept migrants as all, it is important they assimilate into our culture. Neutral. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. No. Strongly disagree. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid reason. Fucking yes. I support a single payer, yes. Healthcare. Prostitution should be illegal. Agree. Maintaining family values is essential. Neutral. To chase progress is at all costs is dangerous. Agree. Not strongly, but agree. Genetic modification is a force for good even on humans. Now, I'm not sure on this yet, so I'm going to go neutral. Just going on the science, right? I'm not going to be ideological about this. I'm actually going to be practical, so I'm going neutral. We should open our borders to immigration, yes. Not strongly, but yes. Government should be as concerned about foreigners as they are about their own citizens, yes. Not strongly, again, but yes. All people, regardless of factors like cultural sexuality, should be treated equally, yes. Strongly. It is important that, and this is the last question, it is important that we further my group's goals above all others. See, this is another one. No. Strongly disagree. Right, let's see where I land on this. So, 8 values results. On the economic axis, I'm a socialist. 84% socialist. Interesting. Diplomatic axis, I am 70% globalist, 30% nationalist. See, this is what I like, the scales. Because it's not absolutist. On the civil axis, I'm more liberal. So 65% liberty, 39.5% authority. So again, it shows balance. And on the societal axis, I am more progressive than I am traditional. So 73.7% progress over 26.3% tradition. Closest match, democratic socialism. Again, that I know that's, you know. But I class myself as a democratic socialist anyway. So yeah, that sounds right. I mean, it's different. It's slightly different to what I've had before, but not by much. Yeah, that makes sense. Again, it's only a rough gauge, but it's it's a good gauge. It's a decent gauge. Sorry. My next video is going to be doing the 9 values. I think that's another axis, another axis. So we'll see. But yeah, like I said, if you're wondering where you sit politically, you know, diplomatically, where you sit on liberal, you know, civil issues or societal problems, whilst it's not 100% great gauge, like nothing ever is, you always want to use other sources to gauge where you sit. But this is a good marker. This is a good place to start from, I reckon. Like I said, for me, the 9 values one is better, which I'll be doing next. But yeah, I hope people like this one. It's slightly different. Have a look. It's not too bad. I've not had too many problems. It's not too far off. Like I said, those statements are a bit leading. This could be done in a better way, but it's not too bad. Video nearly finished and I still get interrupted a lot. But yeah, right, so that's been my run through of 8 values test. Again, 8values.github.io if you want to have a go yourself. Don't, how do the Christians put it? Don't take it as gospel. It's not, you know, 100%, but it's a decent gauge. It's a decent gauge. I hope everyone has alright time in this heat. And Haran Godag. Blessed Thursday.